To report fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB. This is a public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Lights, camera, action.
It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Do you know who I am?
Live and local inside the J. Michaels studio.
People know me.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Filling in this morning, it's Coach Brian Haddad.
That's right. You hear that? Y'all should be impressed. A lot of people just turn their dial.
I had to do that FCC warning, label warning.
Yeah, exactly. Get that 7-second delay ready.
Yeah.
Well, indeed. Well, folks, don't worry. We don't have a hurricane coming. Coach Hale will be back tomorrow. But Brian Haddad sitting in for Coach Hale this morning on the Coach James Hale Show, and joined on this fine, kind of dreary, foggy Thursday here by Jeremy Pridgeon. Jeremy, how are we doing this morning?
I'm doing well, Brian. It's good to be with you again. We've been a few months since we were...
Yeah, it's been a little while. Yeah, they changed the locks on the door, and, I can't get in. But finally figured that code out.
Normally when Wildcat, I swipe that door to come in here, he just opens it up. This time he turned the camera on. I don't know what that's about.
Who is it?
Exactly.
Go home, put some clothes on.
Exactly. And then joining us today, taking a break from hacking divots out of Bay Point, there is Glenn Manley. How we doing, Glenn?
Doing good.
Been a long time no see.
Yes, since yesterday.
Yeah, exactly right. And Wildcat, what's going on back there in the fishbowl?
I'm just hanging on by hanging on.
There you go.
I got everything ready to go. We got some phone calls to make a little bit later.
Yes, we do. We're going to talk to Andy Burcham today from the Auburn Tigers, kind of get a sense of, new hire, Alex Golish. And I actually want to ask Andy a little bit about the basketball team. Jeremy, apparently the state of Alabama owns St. John's University.
Yes.
We've both taken them down. So I definitely want to get, obviously most of it's going to be focused on the new hire, but I do want to get him one or two questions about Auburn basketball playing really well. Had a big win last night, I believe, over NC State. So we'll get into that later.
It just seems, the SEC seems to be owning the ACC, except for a couple of games here lately.
Yeah.
Well, I know FSU took it on the chin.
Yeah, that SEC-ACC challenge is such a great idea. I wish it was a little later in the season when people are a little more into basketball, because I think it's such a big thing. Kind of almost as like an alternate conference break, maybe in January, early January.
And SEC and Big 12 did that for several years, where you'd go through conference schedule, and all of a sudden, mid-January or so, you just step out and play one game. I remember Alabama playing Oklahoma, and we kind of, because you do get in the monotony of the conference schedule, and I hate to say it's monotonous, but how many trips to Starkville are we going to make?
Fair enough. I mean, that's true. That's true. At least that's an easy trip. But Jeremy, while you're here, speaking, I was thinking about this morning. We're on the amp up here to Christmas. How's everything going on down at the church?
We are in that mode. We are getting ready, and 22 days.
That's right.
Days now. It is racing upon us. We've got 3 services on the 24th at 12 and 5 and 7, and I know places all over. It's a high time, and biggest thing I think a lot of churches are also trying to help kids in need with toy drives, and making sure those less fortunate have something. We had a Sunday service that families brought toys up, and we carried a couple, those big, huge buckets out there to help. And anything you can do there, I know it's tough for some folks, and, try to help these little ones in the area experience the joy of Christmas. So.
Well, I know that there was a big move right around, with the shutdown going on, and there was always the fear of the SNAP program, everything like that. There was a big food drive, and I think, maybe there's always a worry when things like that get, quote, resolved, that people forget, but... this time of year, very important to make sure that we're, thinking about not just the toys for the kids, but a lot of them making sure that there's food.
We've seen an uptick with our food pantry each week and request, and sometimes it just ends up with too much month at the end of the money.
Yeah,
And these are, folks are trying to do their best, and sometimes you get an unexpected medical bill, or you get a car repair, or you get something, you can be behind it pretty quick. So yeah. So, and I know our area is very generous and supports.
Absolutely.
I appreciate all that does happen to make that part of the reason of the season here. So
absolutely right, and definitely keep that in mind as we're going forward. I know what we used to do, even with the swim team, was we would do little can drives, and it was one of those things that was so easy as when a Publix is running a BOGO, it's perfect. Get you one. Put the BOGO there into the thing, and that way it's not even that taxing on, yourself, which is, everybody's purse strings get a little tight.
Oh, and I know Glenn, been in the schools and has a heart for kids. You have as well. And we all support our young people here, and most of the time we're talking about sports here. We're actually Monday night hosting the Festival of Choirs, and so all of the middle and high school area students will be coming and singing, songs of the season, and the price of admission is canned food.
Excellent.
For that very
That's
purpose. But that's at 6:00 Monday night at First United Methodist Church. We'll come out and see some of the young talent that's not on a court or a field.
Yeah.
I tell you. Yep.
Well, speaking of that, you give me a good segue there.
Yeah.
Speaking of that talent that is on the field, we did have some local signings here. So, bear with me here, folks. I'm going to get through this the best I can.
We may not get everybody.
I was going to say, we're relying on what I'm able to find, so it's not personal if I miss one, and we'll make sure and get it going forward if we can. Of course, you can always reach out to us in the studio here, 215-6290, 215-6290. Well, Mosley High School had 3 signings yesterday, 2 from football. I got to lead with this one. Adam Land will be heading to Stark Vegas to play for Mississippi State. Second year in a row we've had a Mosley football player heading up to Mississippi State, so I'm really happy about that, and congratulations to Adam Land. And then Carson Griffin will be a Blue Hen now, playing for the University of Delaware.
Yep.
So little climate change there.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But congratulations, big move there. And we actually had a baseball signing yesterday. Carter Payne from Mosley Baseball will be playing with Chipola. So very good there. Over to Chipley, Malik Henderson has signed with Jacksonville State. He will be heading up there. I believe is that the one Eli Gold is now calling for?
Jack State.
Yeah, so that'd be pretty cool. Get your name called by Eli's exciting.
Yes.
Freeport's Julius Miles. This will make Randy happy. Randy will kick in a little extra to the NIL there. Headed up to the University of Louisville. And it is Louisville.
Yes, right.
There. And then, of course, the one that we all kind of anticipated coming. Of course, nowadays you never know for sure until they sign, and even then you don't know. But Bluntstown running back Amari Thomas has signed with Florida State.
Yep.
After he had originally, I think, committed to Florida State, then to South Carolina, then changed his commitment maybe a month ago.
Right, something like that.
And now he's signed with Florida State.
Talk about the kid from Mosley. Stark Vegas, they kept his scholarship because he was injured.
Yeah.
And then they're going to take him. Their medical staff is taking over his treatment. So I
very
think it's
cool.
great for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Look, it's a great school. We may not have the NIL money and everything like that, but I tell you, I always felt like Mississippi State did right by their athletes. So
they do,
it's
yeah.
good.
And you can always pick out the homecoming queen. She's got the cowbell around her neck.
Boy, I could say a few things get me in trouble, but I'm not going to. There were some years I think our flag girls could have taken on our offensive line. But God bless them. They were nice people.
Yeah.
I tell you what, so we're going to get into this probably a little more later as well, but I did want to hit on just a general sense of yesterday was early signing day, and we've done this for a little bit of time, and we remember when like the first Wednesday in February was like a national holiday in the South because signing day. It's a big deal. There's been a lot of talk about the schedule and how it's wrecking recruiting, it's wrecking transfers, it's wrecking coaching decisions, which we're going to talk about that a lot. But yesterday kind of came and went, and without a whole lot of fanfare. I mean,
we were talking. Yeah. We talked with Mark McLeod for 30 minutes. We never brought it up.
That's right.
And we were talking to him, and he texted me back and said, "We never brought it up." And I said, "Well, we talked about it off the air." Yeah. But our thing was, it's not the same. It's not. It was just like I didn't even really realize it.
It's not. And look, you don't have to be, the recruiting file that goes deep into, the dreams of a 3-star athlete, or whatever Wonderlic, any of this stuff. But I always like to at least get a sense of, all right, who did we sign? These are the names I'm going to be looking at next year. And where are they from? That was always just kind of interesting to me. I remember when I first moved here was when Eddie had signed with Alabama. And what I remember thinking was, it's interesting. You've got Jameis Winston, this,
from Alabama.
highly recruited guy out of Alabama goes to Florida State, and the highly recruited guy out of Florida goes to Alabama. I just remember that when I first moved here.
Yeah.
But
and that was before the NIL.
That's right. Well,
that was
before the official NIL.
Well, yeah, the official one.
But I mean, Jeremy, it's interesting that, nowadays, I guess, number one, because it's early. Number two, because they can change their mind and do so much. And just a general dissatisfaction maybe with the state of college football. Do we even really care that much?
Well, I was on a little thread yesterday with a few folks around the area, and one of them circulated the great photo of offensive lineman Kevin Hart, who in 2008 from Fernley High School in Nevada, he committed to play for Cal over Oregon in front of a packed high school gym. And the only problem was he made the entire recruitment up and Cal had never heard of him. But but he was committed. And that is the difference now.
Well, that's the running joke. Does Cal know that?
Yeah. So he is committed. And these kids basically are not committed in the same way that they would have when you watched all the hats on the table and there was this moment and sometimes the mama started beating their kids because they picked the wrong hat.
Right.
Yeah. So now, okay, this is your point of entry.
Yeah.
I really struggle with this, and I dealt with it when I was coaching swim because, it became a thing to where we have a kind of a website that kind of covers all the news of swimming, and it seemed like everybody under the sun would get an official announcement. And it's like, you don't want to be mean because it's important to kids, but, if somebody's going to go be a non-scholarship athlete at Incarnate Word, it's not the same as the number one recruit in the country signing somewhere. But you don't want to say that because it's not nice and polite.
15 seconds in the sun.
And I think that, to that point, just in the social media nature of everything and all this, I think that kids understandably have become addicted to the notoriety. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why we get so many of the, quote, flips. There's nothing exciting about announcing you're committed to a school for a year and then not changing. But if I announce it, I get a news cycle on when I announce. Then I get a news cycle when I change my mind and I, quote, flip. You didn't flip a commitment. You're still in the process of deciding. I mean, that's why I have a hard...
But you can't pay for that coverage.
That's true. So that's why I'm not upset at the kids about it because I do understand it. And look, it's a big thing, and some of these guys...
Keeping your name out there.
Yeah, but we're so addicted to the cycle of news like that. It's a wonder they don't change their mind every 15 times because the adulation that you get that comes from that is intoxicating. And I'm trying to get away from using the word flip because flip would imply that somebody had something. You didn't have anything.
You didn't have anything. Right.
That's
right.
You could always call them traitors.
Well, there's enough of that going on.
Yeah, really.
I don't know.
It's going to get nasty.
I think Kiffin has sucked up all the air on that word lately, even though whatever. We'll get into that next. I definitely want to get into you guys' thoughts on that as it goes forward. And we will talk more about National Signing Day. Just give you an idea of some of the people who have indicated their intent to possibly play football for a school
maybe,
for 1 year.
Well, some of them take their 4 games and stop. Man, I'm leaving.
That's the new way we're going to say it happens. But I do want to talk about J. Michael's Restaurant here on the Coach James Hale Show. We were out there yesterday afternoon for Spaghetti Wednesday. Great crowd out there. Waitresses were busy, and they were doing a great job as always. But if you want to have the best seafood, the coldest beer in town, and that spaghetti on Fridays or on Wednesdays, make sure you get to J. Michael's Restaurant. Tell them you heard about it right here. Dr. Chad Mitchell, Gotta love when Chad's in here every Monday on the Coach James Hale Show, keeping Coach straight. He's also been keeping the athletes in this area straight for over 25 years.
Literally.
Literally. If you've got any kind of injury, anything kind of nagging at you, don't sit there and wallow in pain and be as miserable as I am. Call Chad Mitchell, and he will get you absolutely fixed up and feeling better than you did when you were 18 and signing your national letter of intent.
Oh, yeah.
And then Big Bad John, we heard it. What, we got 22 days until Christmas? 21 days until Christmas.
Yeah,
See, I did math in Mississippi.
Well, it all depends on whether you're including the day of Christmas or not. Or, we're talking about shopping days.
Yeah.
If you're talking about shopping days, you need to go to David Adamson Designer Jewelry, new inventory just about every day. Free jewelry inspection, free jewelry cleaning. If you're a little short on cash, take your old gold and silver jewelry at an all-time high, by the way, and trade it in on a perfect Christmas gift, or just get the cash. Either way, it works at David Adamson Designer Jewelry. Open on Saturdays from 10 until 2. Right now, all the way until Christmas. David Adamson Designer Jewelry, 830 Highway 77 in Lynn
Haven. Well, we would love to take your calls today. We're going to be talking about a whole lot around the college football sphere. We're going to get into signing day. We're going to talk more about all these coaching moves. And we're going to talk about the games coming up this weekend. Everybody's kind of forgotten. We got a bunch of conference championships this weekend to talk about. You're listening to the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd.
Getting the right coach does not guarantee Super Bowls. Most reasonable people understand that. But it does guarantee an identity. The Patriots have one, the Bears have one, the Jags have one. It guarantees you'll get the most out of your roster.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Weekdays at 1.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Thursday's weather. This afternoon and evening there will be a moderate breeze out of the east-northeast, clouds and light showers in 55. Light sprinkles and clouds tonight, about the same at 54. Tomorrow overcast in the morning but otherwise light rain and a gentle breeze right around 10 miles per hour with a high of 69. A little colder at 63 Saturday and we'll have light sprinkles. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
The wait is over. Sunday, December 7th, your Jacksonville Jaguars return to Everbank Stadium for a massive division showdown against the Indianapolis Colts. This is more than just a game. It's a statement. Touchdown, Jacksonville! The Jags are back home and ready to turn up the heat in their iconic Prowler throwbacks. Kickoff is 1 p.m., so pack the bank and make it loud. Secure your seats now at Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you at the bank.
Looking for the most romantic night out in Panama City? Ferrucci Ristorante is your destination for authentic Italian cuisine and unforgettable moments. The candlelight, the wine, the homemade pasta. It's like a little slice of Italy. From handcrafted sauces to centuries-old recipes, Ferrucci brings true Italian flavor to every plate. It's where love stories begin and anniversaries are celebrated. To reserve your table, call 850-913-9131. Ferrucci Ristorante, Panama City's most romantic escape.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
I'm not prepared. I really am not prepared at all. You won't judge me on one email I sent 10 years ago.
My apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Live from the J. Michael Studio.
Not after spicy or food demo!
4.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
I feel like I just walked into a pep rally.
Yeah.
There we go. Welcome back to the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida. Brian Haddad sitting in for Coach, who will be back tomorrow. At least that's the plan.
He's getting his rabies shot today, I think.
Joined by Jeremy Pridgeon and Dr. What is it, Eugene Leroy Glenn Manley.
Careful with that axe, Eugene.
There we go. And that's the Wildcat back there. He's all excited. He's got him a new football coach in Kentucky. We're going to talk about that in the next segment. I do want to get in a little bit into what did happen yesterday on the early signing possible play for my school for a year signing period.
There you go.
If you're going to look at, yeah, exactly. If you're going to look at the way the classes are ranked, and, take this for what it's worth, because recruiting is not over and this, that, and the other. But per ESPN, these are going to be the top 10 classes nationally. And for the first time, Jeremy, since 2008, we do not have an SEC school atop the list.
Right.
The USC, not South Carolina. I don't know. There's probably a lot of excitement music playing around the country. USC Trojans, Lincoln Riley. Everybody keeps saying, is he going to get fired? Well, it looks like he's got the number one class. Take that for what it's worth. 18 top 300 commits there for the Trojans. So very good there for USC. Well, they had a pretty decent year this year. Definitely made progress. Kind of on the periphery of a chance of the playoffs, so this might be the last thing that they need. At number 2, Texas moving up on signing day to the number 2 thing. Only 14 commits, but they did get a big quarterback prospect. Actually, it's a son of an NBA player. Dia Bell is the name of the quarterback. Was it Raja Bell, I guess, was his father. So athletic family there indeed. Texas sitting at number 2. Dropping from 2 to 3 was the Georgia Bulldogs. So familiar, place right up there on the top 3. 17 commits. Top offensive prospect was wide receiver Caden Prothro. So Georgia being top 3, certainly not anything surprising. At number 4, Glenn's favorite, Notre Dame.
Yes.
The Fighting Irish with 17 commits there for Notre Dame. Very, very good. I mean, we always heard Notre Dame would struggle in recruiting because they had a higher academic standard to meet and this, that, or the other. Well, they've done a good job here. At number 5, the Oregon Ducks.
There you go.
Out west there with 14 ESPN 300 commits. At number 6, parlaying a great season into another great recruiting class, the Texas ATM Aggies. Ethan Boyd has been funneling money into that NIL. 15.
Well, it's on their helmet, ATM.
That's right. That's an old joke. They were calling them that in the early 80s. Yeah, thank you. I'll be here all week. The ESPN Next 300 commits, 15 of them going to the Aggies. At number 7, finally, Jeremy, Alabama Crimson Tide, actually moving up a spot to number 7. Only 10 top 300 commits so far. They're still in play for a lot of other ones. And there was some moving around yesterday with some guys that we'll get into more in the Alabama update. At number 8, a team that I thought had probably the best, both of the teams I thought had the best move-up days yesterday were in the state of Tennessee. We'll start with this one. The University of Tennessee, moving up from 11th to 8th. They have a lot of big names, a lot of high up the board top 300 recruits. Only 11 of the top 300, but I know 2 of the top 10 are going to Tennessee. And they have a big quarterback in Faison Brandon that has, quote, signed there for them. At number 9, the Ohio State University Buckeyes, only 13 top 300 commits. Chris Henry Jr. Is their top prospect there. They had dropped a little bit from 7, some moving around with some of the guys that had pledged. And then at number 10, Michigan Eddie, feel better, the Michigan Wolverines. They're cracking the top 10 for the Big Ten. So the Big Ten had 4 schools. Yep. They're in the top 10, so really doing an excellent job there with that. Now, that being said, I want to throw one more out there before I get into some of the player rankings, and I definitely want to get your guys' thoughts on maybe what you saw or what little we followed. I mentioned Tennessee made a big move. The school to me that was the noise of yesterday was Vanderbilt.
Yes.
And it's well-deserved. I mean, they've done a wonderful job on the field. They've done it by elevating 2 and 3 stars into playing really well. Clark Lee should get Coach of the Year. I know there's going to be a lot of people think Signetti, and he's done a wonderful job as well. Clark Lee, what he's done this year, it's no fluke that they're 10-2. And to be honest, they could have won every game that they were in.
Right.
I mean, they really played good football. And they've done it, again, like we said, with that 2- and 3-star talent. Now, all of a sudden, they're starting to get some guys who've, quote, flipped, if you will. There was a Georgia commit at quarterback, 5-star, number 5 player in the country, changed his commitment. Now, to be fair, he's from Nashville.
Right.
Changed his commitment to Vanderbilt yesterday. Also, a wide receiver Alabama's had eyes on for a very long time. Changed
Auburn.
his, they've done a wonderful job there at Vanderbilt. And look out, because if they're playing that well with 2s and 3s, look out when they get some real talent in there. Guys, what was y'all's initial thoughts about, what little we may have seen or anything like that on just signing day in general?
Watching Tuscaloosa closely, I think what you look for now, who is out there that actually can play as a freshman.
Yeah.
Because if you sign and it's not immediate to the field, those folks are hitting the portal. So I'm kind of focused there because there's a sense, okay, this guy's got talent like a Ryan Williams who's gone missing in action this year, but at least his freshman year, immediate impact player.
Oh, my gosh.
And Xavier Crowell there for Alabama was one that DeBoer named that could come in and have immediate impact.
Yep.
Because you're building for a year and you're not building a program, that's really, to me, the only recruiting that matters.
Sure.
Because if you get in a log jam, these kids are on the clock, they're trying to make the money, understand all the reasons why it could be generational, you may never get to the NFL, so you get what you can while you can. If you don't have that immediate impact, next year we're sitting here talking about that recruit and what they did during the season, then the next thing we're going to hear is they've entered the portal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think those are the ones that have to be focused on. If you just signed and you flipped or you've changed your commitment, we'll watch. But who has been signed yesterday that coaches are identifying as somebody that can immediately step on the field?
But you're right, and Glenn, that's so different from the old day. When we would see signing day, we'd think, okay, in 3 years, this is going to be our stud player.
Right.
Jeremy's right. We're signing this guy in the hopes that he's going to be good in 3 months.
Yeah.
I thought some of the people that are way back in the 20s and whatever, those are the ones who, to me, have gone out and found the kids that are hungry to play.
Sure.
And they're the ones, and that's where we got a lot of the new coaches from the guys that are below the Power 5 that know how to move those kids around. And so you put those into places when kids are not exactly... When they get there at school, they find out that they're not the only thing that's greatest things that's popcorn. Everybody out there is. So to motivate those kids and get to play them. But I'm like you. I think Vanderbilt, to me, was the most impressive.
Such a change for them.
And he was smart enough to go out and get a defensive coordinator. And then he went to he saw what New Mexico State did. So he goes out there and gets, Jerry Kill. And so, and then along comes the quarterback, which really helped people want to go to Vanderbilt.
Really quickly, I want to highlight just some other teams of note in the area. Florida State came in at 13. Again, this is via ESPN. LSU, 14. I'll have a story. Excuse me. Your number 1 commit here in just a little bit, and he's still a commit, not signed. University of Florida at 15. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else of any local note in here in the top 25. Ole Miss actually hung on at 24 there. 2 notes really quick to make. Number 1, the number 1 overall commit has been committed to LSU. Brown, defensive lineman. He has not signed yet. He remains committed to LSU. All he said was he just wants to see all of the defensive hires before, which I think is smart.
Right.
A lot of people freak out over that. No, that's what you want, somebody that young to be that mature to say, I do want to see all of the information before I make a big decision.
We talked about how in some games that the Kentucky defense was so tough that Florida went out and hired, Brad White as the defense coordinator.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if the defensive line coach is actually a guy that graduated from Bay High School. I wondered if White would ask to bring him with him. So, you never know. So.
The other story of the day, guys, and we may get into this a little bit on the back end when we talk about coaches. By the way, Auburn coming in at 55, 1 spot ahead of Kentucky. They're a Wildcat.
No comment.
This is, guys, Penn State, 18th out of 18 in the Big Ten. They were behind Colgate in recruiting yesterday.
Wow.
Not the toothpaste, the university.
I know, yeah. William and Mary.
Although they might have been behind the toothpaste as well. Guys, they're going to have to figure out what's going on there with their coaches because this is a lost class.
They had another coach turn them down.
Yeah. So. Well, we'll get into that next here. Definitely want to talk about some more of our great sponsors here. Dat Cajun Place. I'm going to be out there this Saturday watching the early run of championship games. You should too. Why? Well, already it's a great menu and a great time and great drink specials, but during the football games, 50-cent wings. So you need to get out to Dat Cajun Place, but get out there early because that place will be packed up here for Championship Saturday. Dr. John Ward, he was on with us yesterday talking about everything going on at the University of Florida there. And if you've got any kind of issues with your skin, don't wait and become a statistic. 1 in 5 will develop skin cancer in their life, and it is eminently treatable if you get out there and get it screened early. If you're listening to us right now, there is a dermatology specialist site near you. So get out and see Dr. John Ward. And my buddy Steve there at Steve's Bike Shop, Steve's Bike Shop, Steve Burdishaw, been doing this since 1979. He is also the swim coach there at Mosley High School. So get out and see them on 23rd Street across from Sam's. You want a regular bike, you want one of those new electric bikes, get out and see Steve ahead of the Christmas rush here and go to Steve's Bike Shop. When we get back, we're going to finish up with National Signing Day, and we're going to talk about everything that's gone on. There's a few coaches that have moved around, guys.
A few.
I don't know if you've heard, but we'll get into that
I was
next.
sleeping under the rock, so I wasn't sure with it.
College football. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This Saturday, live from Atlanta, it's the SEC Championship with the Georgia Bulldogs.
75 yards.
And the Alabama Crimson Tide.
And Alabama survives.
Coverage starts at 2, kickoff at 2:30 on your spot for the SEC Championship on the Gulf Coast. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Looking for dependable civil construction in the Florida Panhandle? CBC Construction has you covered. From land clearing and drainage to roads and underground utilities, CBC delivers high-quality work on time and on budget. Locally owned and operated, CBC is trusted by schools, developers, and municipalities. To learn more, call CBC Construction 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com. That's cbcconstruction.com. Tired of boring merch and want your brand to stand out like the big names?
Elevate your look with Red 7 Tees. They don't just print shirts, they create bold identities. They are a veteran-owned custom apparel shop providing the kind of detail that turns heads, using high-quality digital printing and embroidery to give you that unique style you love with no minimums or cookie-cutter designs. From small business to sports teams, if you've got a vision, they'll help you wear it proudly. Visit red7tees.com.
Ask for special ESPN Northwest Florida pricing.
Are you looking to invest in rare coins and precious metals? Well, look no further. Coin and Bullion Reserves is Bay County's trusted source for rare coins and precious metals. Located in the heart of Panama City, our showroom is stocked with a vast selection of gold and silver bullion, rare coins, and currency. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned collector, we have what you're looking for. Our sales staff has over 50 years of experience to help guide you through your purchase. Come and visit Coin and Bullion Reserves today and build your collection with confidence.
The Coach James Hale Show is live and local from the J. Michael Studio.
Boss, I got good news and bad news. Well, what's the bad news? Your hat's on fire.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Yep. And welcome back into the Coach James Hale Show. Brian Haddad sitting in for Coach Hale on this Thursday here as we get revved up for championship weekend. And you can listen to the SEC championship right here. Georgia versus Alabama, the way nature intended. Airtime picks up here at 2 p.m. on Saturday. Catch the game right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. So, guys, signing day come and gone. Nice little breeze there, kind of half notice, but it is important in terms of setting the stage and getting the momentum going, especially for a lot of teams that have changed coaches. And boy, have we had a few of those. And I don't even think it was that it was so many. It's that I've never seen guys that many get filled that quickly together. Like it was like, oh, you did one. All right. 30 minutes later, I'll do one. Then 30 minutes later, I'll do one, especially in the SEC.
There was a lot of coaches that got extensions, too, so they wouldn't be moving around. Yep.
A lot of economic activity. We always laughed in Mississippi that when Elijah Moore lifted his leg and did the little fake dog thing, and it cost two coaches their jobs and brought Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach to the state, that one move did like $200 million in economic development in the state of Mississippi.
That was an expensive trip.
It was. But, now with Lane leaving, that's kind of the end of that saga. And a lot of people forget that is that, I think Matt Luke would have made it, but that kind of showed just like, we just need to do it. And so they moved Matt Luke on. They went for the splash. They hired Lane Kiffin. Mississippi State, they weren't thrilled with Joe Moorhead, even though he had the same average record as Dan Mullen. A lot of people forget that. He had 2 winning seasons. But I think the fear of Ole Miss went and got a guy.
Right.
We got to go get a guy. So they go out and get Mike Leach. Great for both universities. But, that can kind of show you that if you do go get the right guy, it can be wonderful for a university. By the same token, I think sometimes when you make the knee-jerk reaction and you get the wrong guy, it may save you for a year. I know everybody's worried about protecting the roster, but is it the right thing for your program long-term?
When Florida State got rid of Taggart, and they go out and get Norvell. Well, he comes in, and we didn't know it, or nobody knew it until he kind of processed Jordan Travis. Then when he had that quarterback that was undeniable, one of the best players.
That's right.
And so that guy was a leader everywhere. And so he built on that, but then he did not go out and find somebody of that capacity. I think the Sperry kid is kind of like that, but we haven't given him a chance. We're hanging on with Castellanos. And, and then especially when he was injured, he wasn't moving as well. Why not take a chance? Because, Pittsburgh did it. Virginia did it. They went out and just, we're going to play a freshman. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's, they don't pay me millions of dollars to make those decisions, but, and then,
Hey, but, we got a radio show and we can sign up for Twitter. And so our voice matters too. Jeremy, I want to ask you this because there's obviously an Alabama tie-in to this too. And look, we were not probably, as Alabama fans, the biggest fans of Pete Golding, certainly toward the end. But to be fair, he was defensive coordinator there for several years, which only Kirby Smart's done that before, and you can see, I think, the stress that took on his life as well. But Pete Golding getting the job at Ole Miss, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but it seemed like what I was talking about, a total knee-jerk. We need to make sure, look, we've got probably the best team we've had since Johnny Vaught was walking the sidelines in Oxford. And we need to keep this together for next year versus looking at where does our program need to be in 3 to 5 years. What's your overall take on the Golding move?
That's exactly right. Golding was kind of a mixed bag at Alabama. I did go back and look at, some of his stats when he was there, and there were flashes. I mean, when he came on the scene in 17, 18, he had a very talented group he inherited.
Yes, he did.
That makes a difference. And then we kind of saw it sort of almost kind of spiral out, where you just had these lapses and inability to get folks off the field. It will be interesting. Does he try to retain the defensive coordinator hand in it, or does he move into that first chair to travel the state and see the boosters? And, so how he handles that adjustment And if he yields it, it's probably going to be a better thing for Ole Miss. If he tries to do what a lot of these coaches who have been coordinators, who become coaches do, and not understand that his preparation time is going to be cut severely, we could see a lot of overs in Oxford.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's interesting with Golding, and the saying even when he was at Alabama was that he was a very good recruiter. He's obviously a high energy guy, which I do think is important to have. I'm going to throw out a possibility. I'm not sure this is the case or not, but I want to throw it out as a possibility and see what you guys think. I've never really been all that thrilled with Golding as a scheme defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I thought he brought an energy. I thought the guys loved playing for him, but just as a purely technical defensive coordinator, I really wasn't that big a fan of his. So what I'm wondering here is, could he actually be a guy, as much as we wouldn't think it naturally, because I don't think anybody was thinking Pete Golding as head coach.
Right.
Could he actually be a guy who fits a better role as a head coach? Kind of provided, Jeremy, like you said, he actually gives up the defensive coordinator. He might actually be a better fit in the head coach role than he actually was as a D-coach.
To be the cheerleader for the program, and to get folks to come to Oxford and turn it loose on the coaches to actually do the coaching would be, the need. If you look at his Ole Miss defenses, they're giving up an average of 18 and a half, but you have to factor in some of the places they play, like DeVry, in that. But they're still giving up over 300 yards.
Yeah, they are.
That's a lot, and it will catch you. And if you've got the cover of a Lane Kiffin offense, you can withstand some 300-yard yields. But even, the totals of those 300 yards still account for teams that they should just dominate on the field, that they're yielding a lot of grass to.
Sure.
Yeah. The other thing, too, when you go to Golding, even some of his lean years, though, how much more influence did Saban have on what he wanted?
Sure.
And Saban's secondary is such a hard deal. There's so many reads and counter reads. So I don't know, but I agree with you. I think if they put him in the top chair where he's just directing traffic, maybe it works. Yeah, maybe it works.
Yeah, initially I thought it was just a really bad short-term decision. And look, in life, we know it all the time. You never make your best decisions when you're in fear and when you're, you're just reacting.
You
need time and you need logic.
That's when Jerry and I both said I do. That's what we're in fear of. But I agree. I agree with you. But the thing is, I don't think they wanted to lose a continuity coach.
Sure.
Since those other three guys are gone.
And if Ole Miss makes a run, Golding's got just as much ability to go around the state and the Southeast and say, I was part of that, because everyone knows Kiffin didn't even look across the ball to see what defense was.
That's true.
This was entirely his program. So if they can get in the playoff, win a couple games, make a flash, he's got some leverage to talk about his ball club.
Well, speaking about Kiffin, obviously it's the first time we've had you in since everything, depending on how you look at it, it transpired, fell apart.
Yeah. Hit the fan.
Nuclear bomb.
Right.
How can I summarize this in even a 15-minute segment?
It was such a domino effect on as soon as he made his decision.
Sure.
The thing was, he was waiting to see what happened at the Iron Bowl.
He absolutely
was. Because he wanted Alabama is the job he's always wanted.
What's your overall take, Jeremy, on the whole Kiffin situation?
Well, star power is commanding, and LSU is the game in town. If you've got the resources that Louisiana has compared to Mississippi, which they've put up for him,
they do.
In this environment, if your top job's not open and you've got a potential move, you take that. How he handled it was absolutely terrible. But I don't know that there's a playbook for it, in this environment, because you just have the windows and being what they are. It's not like you're going to be hired by one company and be able to stay at your previous company and see that through. And LSU's not going to sit and wait because they're on the clock. They're not playing for anything. If LSU, been in the mix, there's not even a conversation. But because they're not, they're acting out of a sense of urgency.
Sure. And look, we generally need a villain in society.
Yes.
Kiffin fits that bill a lot of times. I get it. It's certainly worse that he's going to a major rival. I don't think it would have been quite as bad if he had gone to Florida. But you're right. I don't think he handled everything well. And we laughed, Glenn. I've kind of turned into the Kiffin apologist on a lot of things. But I'll tell you one thing, and I'm curious y'all's take, that bothers me in the way that this is being handled by the media, who I really view a lot lower on all of this thing, is I don't like this notion that's being put out there now that he quit on his players.
Yeah.
And here's why. He was forced to make a decision, I think, earlier than he would. Obviously, he would have liked to have made this after the season. So that gets to the schedule, whatever. But he was forced to make that, which he didn't want to make. He wanted to stay and coach them through. So for all the things you can say about Lane Kiffin, and 95% of them are warranted, I don't think that one's fair.
Yeah. And I think that's spot on. You don't put that much time, effort, and energy to just get through the regular season and head out of town.
That's right. That's right.
Nobody does.
Yeah. And if had a losing season, then we probably wouldn't have said anything. They wanted to get rid of him, so he left.
Yeah.
But, and then they're spot on that he only cares about himself. So, I mean, that's been thrown out there, too.
Yeah, I mean, what's the line, though? If you don't care about you, who will?
Yeah, that's true. But
so, I get it.
My mommy does.
Well,
I just realized I'm kind of wearing a Kiffin top here.
So,
I gotta fix that.
Circle it, in the annual opponents. Of course, Ole Miss and LSU are annual opponents. And next year, games in Oxford.
So, what's great about that? Guess where else they go next year? Knoxville.
Ooh.
It's going to be a lot of sales of mustard bottles.
Golf balls and whatever.
That's right.
Oh.
Well, let's talk about some more of our great sponsors here on the Coach James Hale Show. TK Vanding Roofing and Contracting. Look, you need new roof, you need any kind of contract need like that, talk to Kyle Vandergrift and the fine folks there at TK Vandy. They will get you set up right. Turf Pro Pest Control. Patrick and the crew do a wonderful, wonderful job. I always say it. You need your yard to be the talk of the neighborhood for all the good reasons. You don't want that HOA coming over there and messing with you there. But Patrick and the crew will do a wonderful job of getting that yard looking absolutely as beautiful as Augusta National, Glenn, and making sure that all those unwanted pests and insects are out of there. And then Jason Kovaleski there at MaxFit Sports Nutrition. You want to look better, you want to feel better, you need to get out to MaxFit Sports Nutrition. They have 2 sites there for you locally, one in Panama City there at the Coronado Village, and then one on Panama City Beach next to Dick's Sporting Goods. MaxFit Sports Nutrition. We come back, a little FSU talk. How did they do yesterday in the signing day, and how do the prospects look going forward for the Seminoles? You'll get that next on the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
In the state of South Carolina, some little boys and some little girls grew up to be Gamecocks fans. And this time, come Saturday, we'll be on Stoned All Day Ho South Navy crying, eating that leftover Gamecock turkey sandwich. 50% off all chickens. Let's go, Clemson Nation.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Thursday's weather. This afternoon and evening there will be a moderate breeze out of the east-northeast, clouds and light showers in 55. Light sprinkles and clouds tonight, about the same at 54. Tomorrow overcast in the morning but otherwise light rain and a gentle breeze right around 10 miles per hour with a high of 69. A little colder at 63 Saturday and we'll have light sprinkles. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
It's the end of the year and the perfect time to unwrap big savings on a brand new 2025 Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Ready for adventure? Well, drive into the holidays in an award-winning Kia SUV line like the Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorrento, or the bold Telluride. If you want luxury and performance, slide into the sleek 2025 Kia K4 or K5 sedan, always designed to thrill. And going electric this year, spark inspiration with the all-electric all-electric 2025 EV6 long-range, fast-charging, and electrifying style. At Bill Bird Kia, you'll get comfort, safety, and technology all wrapped into one perfect package. And don't forget, we're the original home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street in Panama City or online anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust. Bill Bird Kia, your local community dealer. Love your ride this holiday season. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty.
Hey, Dad, you've got a powerful role even if you're not the one doing the feeding. Breast milk gives your baby top-tier nutrition, immune protection, and antibodies that formula just can't. And the best part, breast milk is free at 30A lactation. Dads, your support matters. It strengthens mom and helps baby, and it brings you closer. Learn more ways to support your family's feeding plan. Schedule a consultation with 30A lactation. Call now, 678-836-8962 for 30A lactation.
Welcome to It's the Coach James Hale Show.
But I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
Live from the J. Michael Studio, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Florida State, Florida State, Florida State. Woo! FSU update brought to you by Newbies.
All right.
I love that I can say all four
That's right.
of the Newbies.
The blue
here.
on the bay, baby.
That's right. The mothership, Newbies 2 on the curve, the Brew and Booze, and Glenn's final resting place most nights. The new one there in San And I mean resting place.
That's right. They have a nice little park bench out there.
There you go.
There you go. So,
there you go.
Yeah, I went by the Booze and Brew the other day, and, they were like long strangers. Everybody gave me a hug, and it was fun, so. That's right.
Well, you will have a wonderful time at any of the Newbies. You know that. And Miss Charlotte loves her Seminoles, and so we're going to talk about them now and want to thank Newbies for that. So FSU yesterday, I do want to just go down the list just so everybody has an idea of some of the names to be looking for. I'm going to start with the 4-star players. There were no 5-stars in the early signing period. Of course, that's all subjective, but 4-star players: defensive back Chauncey Kennan, tight end Xavier Tiller, wide receiver Ephraim White. Now, that's a name you don't hear outside of 1920 that often. Ephraim, so good on him. Defensive lineman Franklin Whitley. We have wide receiver Brandon Bennett. Jaden O'Neal, quarterback, 4-star. That's definitely going to be looked at there. Isaiah Williams, linebacker. Trey Bell III, defensive back. Ernest Rankins, defensive lineman. Devin Carter, wide receiver. Jason Lopez, wide receiver. And, of course, the one we talked about earlier, 4-star running back from Blountstown, Amari Thomas. So good smattering there of 4 stars. Couple of wide receivers in there, which I know is important.
Yeah, for the room, but also they went for defensive lineman, offensive lineman again. So
not a lot of defensive backs in the 4-star range, but they've been okay there.
Yeah, they still got. I think they still got a room full. But I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have 1 or 2 more. But you just never know.
Now with the 3 stars, I'm gonna do my best with some of these names here. Nikau Heppy as an offensive lineman, as is Luke Francis and Mike Ionata. So 3-star offensive lineman there. You can never have enough offensive linemen. Defensive lineman Chris Carbon, defensive back Jordan Crutchfield. Offensive lineman Jacoby Green. 1 more defensive lineman here in Judah Daniels. And then offensive line Stephen Picard. Athlete Darion Williams. Defensive line, Damod Lewis. We do have a JUCO 3-star offensive lineman, Stephen Moore. Noah Laval is a linebacker. J.P. Winston is a wide receiver.
Yes, James Winston's brother.
Wow, there we go. We're very good. Defensive lineman from JUCO, Jalen Anderson. We have a tight end, Corbin Fordham. Karen Maycock, linebacker. Whitley Cadeau, defensive lineman. linebacker Dalen Green, and then 2 more defensive linemen to round it out, Jamin Pinckney and Cam Brooks. So you're right, definitely put some effort in to getting defensive linemen on campus there.
Right. And let's put some more effort into bringing our buddy back, Odell Hagan should be the line coach again.
For the 100th straight year. All right, guys. So we came into the year not knowing exactly what to expect. Certainly didn't expect 2-10. Thought, okay, come in, winning record, go to a bowl games, probably solid. If everything goes right, 8-4, that'd be great. Then they beat Alabama and beat them convincingly.
Right. Let's go to Miami.
All right, obviously it's easy to answer this one now, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Did the expectations go off the rails at that point?
Absolutely.
It was, you'd think like we won the Super Bowl, the thing, and then, of course, we played the other 2 teams, which definitely no match for us. But I think we probably got Castellanos hurt at Kent State. It got rolled, and when he didn't learn anything from Jordan Travis playing you should beat these teams. I don't matter who you're playing, but and I know you want your starting quarterback to get experience, but at what point do you keep playing him?
Yeah.
And when I said I'm Miami, I wasn't talking about the university. I was talking about they were playing for the national championship at the end of the season. It's the sentiment in Tallahassee when I left that day. They were. Let's check our calendars to see when that game's being played.
Right.
I remember Jeremy. I went to in 2000. I went to the Rose Bowl when Alabama played UCLA.
I was there as well.
Yeah. And remember, Freddie Millins ran back the punt.
And that was
running right at me into the end zone. And I remember I turned around. We're all looking at each other. We're all going, national champs. 3-8 that year.
Yeah. Then there's a guy named Deshaun Foster.
Yeah.
That kept converting 4th downs.
They beat our brains in after that. But it reminded me of a similar kind of thing. But let me ask you this. I don't want to go too deep philosophically into this, but I'm curious what you guys think. So, obviously, we had the 13-0 year. Travis gets hurt. They get rooked out of being in the playoffs. I mean, they did.
Right.
I mean, we love that Alabama got there, but not at the behest of Florida State. And then it fell apart in the bowl game and whatever next year. What has bothered me last year and this year, both with Florida State, is it seems like as soon as something goes wrong, they spiral off the rails. And so my question to you is this, and it's hard to answer, but is that a societal issue where now kids move around all the time, so as soon as something goes wrong, they just think about leaving? It used to be the notion that they're going to play hard next week because they got beat this week. So is it societal, or is that a Norvell problem?
It's a great question, because I think one of the pieces that you're pointing to underneath the comment is around resiliency. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with adversity? And there is this sense of just compounding it in Tallahassee right now. But if something happens, there's going to be something that makes it worse versus stemming it and getting back on track. And we've watched this where you come out, even this year, hope springs eternal, and then we go over this cliff, and there's just some inability to find bottom on this to come back out of it. And
it's almost like we're waiting for something to happen to trigger that feeling. And then, but watching the Florida game, I'm just a little old high school coach, but I know one thing: you can't run wide on Florida. There's you got to do a little veer act, not the veer offense, but a little veer off the line or whatever. But then when it's 4th and 1, you don't put in the guy that hasn't run the ball in over a year, Rondell Williams, Sawchuck or the Omar Kamara. But the other thing too is here's his 3rd and 1, and we try some crazy pass. Get the first down and start over, and especially when you're in your own territory. And then again, punting's not a bad down.
Yeah.
When you do that, so every time we line up to run 4th and 1, we were 5 yards in the backfield. So everybody gets to see what you're doing. So why not get under there, and you could actually maybe get it to at least 2 times out of 4 if you go off tackle.
If you just look at the totality of the time under Norvell, if we look before the 13-0 season, which a lot of people forget about, the Boise State game was tight. They lost it late against a pretty good team.
Right.
What happens the next week? Jack State.
Yeah.
And everything fell apart. The 13-0 thing, they get left out of the playoff. Okay, there's more factors. They were playing Georgia and half the team wasn't there, but the bowl game was abysmal.
Right.
They go to Ireland. Hope springs eternal again. We're going to come back. Okay. Lose a tight game there. It's probably the best game they played all that year.
Right.
Everything falls apart. This year, Virginia.
I know.
Tough game on the road Friday night, not crippling to your season.
Right.
But it was like as soon as they lost that game, it's like you could see them deflate. Like, what are we playing for?
Right.
That's what I mean. I don't. The common thread is Norvell, but it could be societal as well.
A couple of times if they execute, they're right in there, yeah.
It reminds me of Alabama under Shula. You could play with everybody in the nation for 3.5 quarters.
Yeah.
And then you just knew somehow it was going to collapse. I really felt good when Alabama was playing South Carolina because I knew Shula was in the box for South Carolina.
Not for long.
And it collapsed. I mean, so there's just this sense of the psyche that really does come.
It just seemed like they didn't make very good adjustments on after halftime. So, but anyway,
Well, look, if we could have figured this out.
Right.
Florida State be paying us a lot of money to come in and fix that. But anyways, it was an interesting conversation because it's just been so weird to see that because, it's just very different.
Belief is powerful. If you believe you're going to take that L and it's going to go poorly, that'll be self-fulfilling.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Well, speaking of the Alabama under Shula, we have better days now because we're going to the SEC championship game. And when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about that as we get into Glenn's favorite segment, the Alabama Update. Want to thank Newbies again for their sponsorship of the FSU Update today. And, folks, we will be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Dan Patrick Show. Are the Niners good? Are they relevant? Are they threatening? Because I'm watching and I would say, are they good? They're good-ish. Are they relevant? They got Christian McCaffrey. Are they threatening? I would say no. You could end up with 10 wins and maybe not get in.
It's the Dan Patrick Show. Weekday mornings from 9 till 11. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Thursday's weather. This afternoon and evening there will be a moderate breeze out of the east-northeast, clouds and light showers and 55. Light sprinkles and clouds tonight, about the same at 54. Tomorrow, overcast in the morning, but otherwise light rain and a gentle breeze right around 10 miles per hour with a high of 69. A little colder at 63 Saturday, and we'll have light sprinkles. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
For exciting college football, the best boiled seafood, and the most game day fun, it's Lone Star Boil House. Watch the games on their huge Jumbotron. Challenge your friends to beer pong, cornhole, and oversized Connect 4 in their new adult lounge. Lone Star Boil House is where the locals go for incredible wings, the best boiled seafood, and a new breakfast menu. Saturday and Sunday starting at 9. Crush the follow on Facebook to catch huge game day specials. Lone Star Boil House, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
Toyotathon is on at Panama City Toyota, where you can get 1.99% APR on a new Camry and get $500 in holiday cash. Get 3.49% APR on a new Corolla and get $500 in holiday cash. Get 1.99% on a new Tacoma, plus $1,000 in holiday cash. And 1.99% on a new Tundra, plus you'll get $1,000 in holiday cash. Shake up your holidays at Toyotathon.
Offers expire January 5th. Visit PanamaCityToyota.com for details.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? We can typically replace them while you wait. Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? In many cases, we can have it back to you the next day. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, just south of Tractor Supply. The best place in town to take a leak.
It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Go nuts.
out.
Live from the J. Michael Studio on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Filling in this morning, it's Coach Brian Haddad.
One of these days, I think Glenn's just going to do it accidentally, but I keep waiting.
I know, but there's people on the plane that would probably send messages to my house.
Yeah, I think they would.
Yeah.
I think they would. Alabama Update brought to you every day on the Coach James Hale Show by Steverson Air Conditioning. Well, you know, they always say in Florida, if you don't like the weather, wait a half hour.
That's right.
It is changing constantly, but either way it goes, you need heating, you need AC. Steverson Air Conditioning is the way to go. Stay local, don't go national. Steverson Air Conditioning. Familiar week, Jeremy. Thank goodness. We're going back to Atlanta.
Yep.
Let's talk about it.
There's just one game in the conference this week.
That's right. And no coaching moves, we think.
We happen to be playing. And will it be Bryant-Denny East or will it be Sanford Stadium West?
Yeah.
It will be kind of one of the question marks here as we get ready for the SEC championship game. And while Alabama and Georgia have not been historical rivals, fate and playoffs and championship games have put them intersecting more often than not, and for two programs that historically avoided each other until, we're now in a rotation that will dictate how frequently they play. And then in this case, we actually get a rematch of a regular season contest now in the SEC championship game. So going back to 92, pop quiz for you guys.
Okay.
Who are the five schools in the SEC that have won an SEC championship?
Okay, so Alabama has.
Yes.
Florida has.
Yes.
Georgia has.
Yes.
LSU has.
Yes.
Auburn.
Nope.
Wow.
But yeah, they're in there.
Okay.
One Newton year.
Yeah.
So it's 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Tennessee.
Well, I blocked that out.
Yeah, you got 6 schools. You got 6 schools total. Yep. So Auburn's in there.
That's right. I should have known Tennessee beat Mississippi State the one time we went. That's
now,
right.
Who are the 3 programs to have gone back to back?
Florida's definitely done it. I think Alabama's done
Alabama's done it. And the last one is
LSU.
Nope.
Oh, God, please don't be Tennessee.
It is Tennessee.
Oh, no.
So Georgia is going for their first back-to-back.
How about that? Yeah.
SEC championship because they are the reigning SEC champions. But Florida won 4 straight. Alabama won 3 straight at one point, repeated as well. And then Tennessee did win back-to-back there in the late 90s. So it's interesting. I mean, 6 schools, that's it, over now 33 years of this ball game.
And ironically, if Alabama had lost the Iron Bowl, that would have marked the first time Ole Miss would have played in the SEC. They're one of the few schools that has not played it.
So Alabama's going for their 31st SEC championship game on Saturday. They're 11-4 all time. Now, with that ball game, if you recall, the very first one was the 92.
Oh, I remember.
And as Stalling said, we're 11-0, hadn't won anything yet.
That's right.
And Florida just about knocked them out. We've all seen the documentary of how the play changed college football.
Yes.
Where would we be if Spurrier had pulled that one off?
We love Antonio Langham.
I mean, you could see the progression to where we are today out of that very first playoff event. And I can guarantee, had Alabama dropped that ball game, there would have been a circling of the wagons of the conferences to ensure they did not get exposed in that same way.
As I know you remember, the irony in that scenario is at the beginning of the season, Spurrier was the one railing against it in the opposite role. He thought they would be the undefeated team that would be, knocked out, like that. I mean, Spurrier was the one railing against it. Of course, by the end of the year, Florida has 3 losses, and Spurrier was all about, oh, no, this is the greatest thing in the world.
And it did cost Alabama in 94.
Yes, it did.
24-23 loss when Barker was senior and knocked them out. It has cost a couple of programs over the years. it was interesting to kind of remember that piece leading into the playoff rankings, because there is a sentiment out there that if Alabama plays poorly, or even if Alabama loses, they should be out of the playoff. Yeah. Not out of the BCS or the previous iteration of the playoff, but that this game could cost, which is just fascinating because Alabama's donning the crimson jerseys as the 1 seed.
That is correct.
On Saturday, as the overall regular season winner, for lack of a better word, of the Southeastern Conference. And folks said, well, how did that happen? Well, you take strength of schedule, became the tiebreaker that separated the three-way logjam of A&M and Ole Miss. Four-way, with the other programs. And Alabama ekes it out. But in that previous segment, we kept talking about that Florida State game, and that's the one that sort of sticks out, but non-conference game didn't factor in the tiebreak. Right. So Alabama's played in the most. They're 11-4 all time, and then Georgia and Florida have the second most appearances at 13 each. No mystery as to what's at stake here. SEC title game, inside track to probably hosting a playoff game in the first round for Alabama if they win. They'll hit the road, I think, if they lose and still backdoor into the playoff. Georgia playing for, the bye. So there is some impact. But you've also heard the conversations around the importance or the need for conference championship games when the role is simply to make the top 12.
Yeah.
Who would you rather be this week? Alabama? Georgia? Having to be on the ball field, going through a week of practice? Liabilities resulting with that? Or would you rather be sitting in College Station or Oxford, Mississippi, where you're playing and you're playing for the marbles?
Yeah.
Does the SEC championship really matter in the current environment?
It's an interesting question. I mean, it matters now, not so much in the sense of a ring, even though I do still think that's important, but every year diminishingly so. I do think it matters in this sense. It does change where everybody's going to be seated. For Georgia, a win can mean a bye.
Yep.
For Alabama, a win can mean guaranteeing a home game. I don't know that they can vault all the way into the top 4, although I guess it's possible, but can guarantee a home game, whereas more likely they're going on the road.
Right.
Even if they eke in as I guess it'd be the 10 seed if they lost. So there's a lot to it, for sure.
So here's the thing.
But it's just different.
Are they going to count it as such a big loss, or are they going to count it such as a big win? The committee changes every week to negotiate who they want in there. So we got to figure out, do they want Alabama and Georgia in there?
Well, I was thinking about this really, and to me, if you're going to have the conference championship game, then that data point needs to be measured only against other people with that same data point.
Right.
So to me, Alabama and BYU is the only thing that really should change. Because to me, if BYU beats Texas Tech, I don't believe Texas Tech would drop below a 3-loss Alabama. To me, that's the only scenario where Alabama should fall out if BYU wins.
Yeah, that's the muddy one.
I don't think you can say Alabama should drop below a Vanderbilt with an extra data point and a head-to-head win over Vandy.
Yep.
I don't think you can say Alabama should drop below a Texas with an extra data point and the same number of losses, even with Texas's losses looking better than Alabama's. There's an extra data point. So to me, again, I'm not on the committee. They haven't asked me to serve, but that to me is what they should rely upon. So it should really, to me, be Alabama or BYU at this point.
Right. Yeah. So, and then the other part of this, which we talk about in other segments, but you still got the ACC impact of this.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Yeah.
And is it time, as Goodman pointed out in his article, is it time for the committee to send Notre Dame a message?
I think they may have initially lined one up by jumping Alabama over Notre Dame, because here's what I think they're doing. I think Notre Dame thinks they're safe. I think if the scenario nobody's really considering, if BYU wins and Alabama wins, I think Notre Dame's out. Because I don't see Texas Tech dropping below Notre Dame.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the one.
I think that's why they shifted them.
And you can make that rationale because they've got to figure these sort of doomsday scenarios that are very much in play right now.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be fascinating. And honestly, at 8:30, we're going to talk more about this and playoff implication. I definitely want to get into the ACC end of things because the future of that conference may hinge on this game. I want to get into that. But we got to get out of here because we need to talk to Andy Burcham about everything that's going on at Auburn. Want to thank Steverson Air Conditioning again for their sponsorship of the Alabama Update. Looking forward to the SEC Championship game this Saturday. Also want to thank J. Michael's Restaurant there on Thomas Driver, Navy Boulevard. I always make that mistake. But get out there. Best seafood, coldest beer you're going to find anywhere. J. Michael's Restaurant. Dr. Chad Mitchell, been serving the athletes of this area for over 25 years. RobotMD.com. If you have any kind of injury, go see Chad Mitchell. Beef O'Brady's out there in Lynn Haven, our sponsor of the Auburn Update. We love them. Go see Pat Perno and the crew there. And Big Bad John, 3 weeks till Christmas.
21 days, and gold and silver at all-time highs. I talked to Russ and Amber, and they said that they have had great success with people bringing in their old silver and gold jewelry and trading it in for a brand new Christmas present or just for some cold, hard cash. And so go in there, take your jewelry in for a free jewelry inspection, a free jewelry cleaning. Talk to them about buying your old gold and silver, and they'll give you the best prices around, better than taking it to pawn shops or someplace like that. We're talking about David Adamson Designer Jewelry, 830 Highway 77 in Lynn Haven.
When we get back, we're going to go onto the plains and talk to Andy Burcham of the Auburn Tigers. A few things been going on there lately. We'll get Andy's thoughts on that. You're listening to the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN, Northwest Florida.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Rich Eisen Show.
Well, this year, we might see an earlier exit. I'm finally believing it. The mistakes that they are making are costing them in one-score games. And then they just do un-Chiefs-like things. 10 penalties for 119 yards against the Cowboys. They did take the lead, and it looked like, okay, they're going to show up and they're going to boat race the Cowboys, and that's the end of that. Then the defense just couldn't stop a cold.
The Rich Eisen Show. Weekdays 11 to 2. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Thursday's weather. This afternoon and evening there will be a moderate breeze out of the east-northeast, clouds and light showers in 55. Light sprinkles and clouds tonight, about the same at 54. Tomorrow, overcast in the morning, but otherwise light rain and a gentle breeze right around 10 miles per hour with a high of 69. A little colder at 63 Saturday, and we'll have light sprinkles. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
360-degree protection of your home, 365 days a year, one low monthly price.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control offers an affordable program that provides our customers with peace of mind. Brock 365.
We like bundling pest control with termite protection for a low monthly payment. We couldn't be happier with the results. Most treatments are done outside, and we haven't had any issues in over 3 years.
Call us today for your free consultation.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601. 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
Give them a call. Phone lines are open. 850-215-6290. The Coach James Hale Show is taking your calls live and local from the J. Michael Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. And now, War Eagle. Live from the J. Michael Studio, it's the Auburn Update on the Coach James Hale Show with the voice of the Auburn Tigers, Andy Burcham, ESPN Northwest Florida.
update here on the Coach James Hale Show. Brian Haddad sitting in for Coach Hale today, and we are thrilled to have the voice of the Auburn Tigers joining us. A busy, busy man this day and age
Absolutely,
here.
yeah.
Coming out of football, got basketball going on. The voice of the Auburn Tigers, Andy Burcham. Andy, how are we doing on this Thursday?
Brian, I'm doing well, thank you. Late night last night, a big win for Auburn over NC State in basketball. Get ready now to head to Tucson, Arizona for the weekend. And as you mentioned, all of this on the tail end of naming a new head football coach in Alex Golesh as the 33rd football coach in Auburn history. So a lot has gone on in the last 10 days on the plains, to be sure.
Indeed it has. Well, before we get into that, because I definitely want to get into your thoughts on everything with new coach, but I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up a really exciting Iron Bowl. I mean, obviously didn't go the way you wanted in the end, but talk a little bit about the game there Thursday night or Saturday night. And boy, what an environment. Jordan Hare always puts on a great environment, but that was something special at the Iron Bowl.
It was, and you know what? It's what we come to expect now at Jordan Hare Stadium, and especially at night. And add that, all of that, with the Iron Bowl, and it was a fabulous atmosphere for college football, and really a very, very good game. It certainly didn't go the way Auburn was hoping, and it came down to the final few moments of that one, and Auburn fell behind early, came back and tied the game. A really impressive drive by Alabama to eventually win it, and then a fumble by Auburn at the end of the ballgame sealed the deal. Really, it's what we expected out of the game. I expected it to be a close game, was hoping that Auburn would pull it out. It did not, but and then one day later, less than 24 hours later, Alex Golesh named the Auburn head coach. His press conference was Monday. I had a chance to sit down with him yesterday and interview, the first exclusive interview with Alex Golesh going out on War Eagle Plus here in about 45 minutes. So, and then basketball, we were in Vegas all last week with Auburn basketball, and then came back on Thanksgiving Day, flew back on Thanksgiving Day, had some cranberry sauce when I got back to town on Thursday night, geared up on Friday, and the Iron Bowl on Saturday, and a new coach, and then basketball here. So, yeah. It's a rather busy time, to be sure.
So, folks, if you're listening, Andy Burcham needs a massage and a spa day. But, hey, that's what we love. It's excitement and a lot going on.
A shot of B vitamin 12.
Yeah, there we go. Well, Andy, let's pivot into that. Obviously, new hiring Alex Golesh from South Florida taking over. Obviously, a lot of things that seemed like we're waiting on the Lane Kiffin dominoes to fall and everything. There was some early talk of Summerall. There was some talk of DJ Durkin. How did it end up getting to Alex Golesh, and why was that, it's being fairly universally praised. Why was that the right hire for Auburn?
Well, you'd have to talk to John Cohen about all the things that went on behind the scenes.
Sure.
But it was a fascinating time in the SEC. I mean, you had 4 to 5 different coaching jobs open at the same time.
Yeah.
And they're all intertwined. You're right. I mean, what happened at Ole Miss kind of started the domino effect elsewhere. And although I don't think Auburn and Lane Kiffin were ever a match, at least at this time, but what he did and when he did it seemed to the domino effect took place. And you heard the names that were being rumored for the Auburn job. I think some were probably correct. I don't think some were, quite frankly. But it was very, very, and it was fascinating to watch it. And then when the news started to come out that it would be Alex Golesh, we all started to work on, well, who is this guy? You know, I mean, he has been impressive wherever he has been, but just getting to know him a little bit more, and the incredible numbers that South Florida put up this year, and what Tennessee did when he was the offensive coordinator there, and what UCF did, and what Iowa State did, and what Illinois did during his time there. And then to learn his backstory of growing up in Moscow, Russia, and he and his family leaving in 1991 with about $400 to their names. An aunt sponsored them coming to the United States. He grew up in New York City, and then eventually into Ohio, where he learned the game, went to Ohio State, and then became a coach on the high school level, and then just, working his way up And so it's a fascinating. So he's really an interesting man just to get to know. And he won. And listen, I don't know how important it is, but you don't want to lose your press conference. Yeah. And he didn't do that. He won his press conference. He's really thoughtful man. But buddy, he is one driven individual. And he is hired on a Sunday, early Sunday morning. At 1 o'clock in the morning, I think, is when he signed his contract. He and his family fly to Auburn. Then has his press conference on Monday. Is in the process of putting his staff together. Signing day yesterday, and now back to work as they gear up for the transfer portal to open up in January, and then get into winter workouts and then spring ball, and no rest for the weary for Alex Golesh. That's to be sure.
Andy, Jeremy, I was in Auburn Saturday night. Just a gorgeous night for football. Everything was just first class there on the plains, and like you recapped, I mean, just a tremendous Iron Bowl that was back and forth, and chronicling the hiring, USF coach. I mean, for an Alabama fan, we watched this guy because we had the 2-for-1 that we played 2 of the 3 games. One down in Tampa where we were just white knuckling to get out of the stadium when Milroe was on the bench, and then we do have memories of losing to Tennessee there. To me, his signature win, obviously that put him on the map, was going into Gainesville and winning there. And I'm sure that ride back down to Tampa from Gainesville was a fun one for that USF bunch. But he brings a fire and an energy that I really do sense will bring an edge to the Iron Bowl, and kind of now it is 6 straight for Alabama. My Auburn friends are certainly lamenting that, but you sense in Golesh someone that understands the dynamic, having been kind of primed for it at a USF that had to kind of watch the big 3 of Miami and Florida and FSU, but he wasn't afraid to play them, and when they played, they brought their best. So your sense of him kind of grasping what he's jumped into here, where there are 2 schools and 1 game that matters.
Yeah, well, and he has been in this league before. I mean, he was at Tennessee, so I mean, he's been exposed to what the Southeastern Conference is all about. So it's not new to him. But you used the word edge, Jeremy, and when Auburn let Hugh Freeze go, and then on that Monday, John Cohen talked about it at his press conference. He used the word edge maybe 13 times in that press conference, and continued to use that as he and I would talk on the air sometimes, off the air sometimes, about this coaching search. And this guy has an edge. There is a fire in Alex Golesh, and he talked about it with the team on Sunday. I mean, he's not a golfer. He's not a fisherman. He doesn't have hobbies. Football is it. Yeah. And his family, and that's it. And there's a fire to this guy. There is in talking with Cody Burns, and we did live coverage, an hour's worth of live coverage leading up to his press conference on Monday, Brad Law and I. And Cody Burns joined us, and Cody on his staff at UCF, at Tennessee, and then at South Florida. Former Auburn quarterback / wide receiver. He's been a coach at Auburn, and we asked, I mean, at this point, we'd never met the man. We've never met Alex Golesh, and we said, Cody, tell us about this guy. And he said he is purpose. There is a purpose driven about this guy, process. And in talking with him yesterday, and again, this interview on War Eagle Plus will go out in just about a half hour, he talks about the process. And it's fascinating to watch him talk and to listen to him talk about what his philosophy about football is all about. And I'll tell you this, guys, we were at the press conference on Monday. Brad and I stayed outside after he went through there was a tiger walk for this head coach and his family on Monday. And when he went inside then for the press conference, we stayed out where we were doing the coverage. And there were probably a couple hundred Auburn fans that stayed out, and they had the press conference on a big video board. And his first question was about his offensive philosophy. And the first thing he said was, we're going to run the football. And you should have heard the fans outside when he said that. And I asked him about it yesterday. I said, could you get a sense of when you said that from the press conference? Yeah, I could. Some folks clapped. Some folks kind of stood up or sat up straight when he said that. And I think that's something that Auburn, listen, I mean, go all the way back to Bo and Fullwood and all those guys, and all the way back. I mean, to Dias and Kuykendall and those names, and in the 70s with Brooks and all that. That was news, or that was exactly what Auburn fans wanted to hear. And this is a guy that a year ago, 500 yards in total offense, number 2 in the country, and over 43 points per ball game.
Yeah, and I loved his press conference when he got the little, as he said, trap question about golf. I thought he handled that one beautifully. I did want to ask you, because I tend to overanalyze these situations. We've been talking about it off air, but I think one of the most interesting dynamics is the dynamic of DJ Durkin being, and how much of a candidate he was for the head coaching job, we'll never know. I mean, that's a John Cohen and DJ Durkin thing. But I always find that dynamic interesting when someone on staff wanted the job and then ends up staying. Talk to me about how important it is for Auburn in both the short term and long that DJ Durkin is staying on staff, at least it appears.
Well, I think for some, the reason that they wanted DJ Durkin to stay was the retention of the talent that Auburn has. And I'm not saying that's not important. It is.
Right.
But I think the most important thing about keeping DJ Durkin on this staff, and then he agreeing to remain on this staff, all right, was the work that he did after Hugh Freeze was let go. And the 3 games, the month that he was the interim head coach, and how he kept things together, and the energy that he and this team brought forth. And just the work, the body of work that he has done as Auburn's defensive coordinator, and the work that this team did. Listen, guys, how many times did Auburn in the fourth quarter, including Saturday night, have an opportunity to tie or win a ball game and did not? And that was with an offense that until the last month was really inconsistent at best. Well, the reason that Auburn had those chances in that game, for the most part, was that defense. I mean, look at what Xavier Atkins did. Transfers out of LSU where he was buried on the depth chart. He should be. If he isn't a first-team All-SEC linebacker, there's something wrong, because he was among the very best, not only in the SEC, but in the country. And the way those guys rallied around DJ Durkin, and it was both sides of the ball, guys. Both sides of the ball, and the special teams when he was the interim head coach. I think he's just done a wonderful job. I do think it helps in roster retention for Auburn, to be sure. I think it helped on signing day that DJ Durkin was the defensive coordinator. So I think that was a very important factor for Auburn moving forward in many, many regards.
Absolutely. Well, Andy, there's so much going on with the new hire and everything like that. I hate we didn't get a chance to talk about basketball because there's a lot going on there too, but we'll definitely do that going forward. As always, love talking with you. Thank you for all the insights, and we'll get up with you again next week.
Guys, have a great day. War Eagle.
War Eagle, indeed. That's the great Andy Burcham. Again, War Eagle Plus. Check out that interview. I think it's going to go about 9 a.m. War Eagle Plus interview with Alex Golish there, Andy Burcham. We're going to head to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more college football.
Mornings on ESPN Northwest Florida just got unsportsmanlike.
LSU and Lane Kiffin both better be right, because if they're not, the shine comes off of Lane Kiffin, but I think some of the shine also comes off of LSU's program, and they get relegated to a second-tier school when it comes to the conversation around competing for national championships. That's what LSU becomes.
Evan Canty and Michelle. Weekdays 5 to 7 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Your goals matter, and at Anytime Fitness Panama City, they're ready to help you crush them. With expert coaching, personal training, and virtual workouts through the Anytime Fitness app, you'll have all the support you need inside the club and beyond. Limited time only. Join today for just $1 down and start your fitness journey now. Don't wait. Visit 107 West 23rd Street, Suite W8, or call 850-818-8184. Anytime Fitness. Let's make healthy happen.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Mentorship might sound huge, but the truth is, it takes little to be big. Just showing up can spark confidence and connection in a child's life. Right now, more than 300 kids in Northwest Florida are waiting for a mentor. Be the one who makes a difference. Call 850-433-KIDS or visit BeTheBig.org to get started.
When he played football, helmets had not been invented yet. Players played both sides, and quarterbacks weren't afraid of needles. It's the Coach James Hale Show, live from the J. Michaels Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Mannheim Steamroller?
That's the Trans-Siberian.
Oh, okay. Well,
Carol of Bells.
not the first time I've looked like an idiot on the radio.
I hate saying that.
And it won't be the last either.
We should have blue.
You like that Porky Pig song?
That's Sir Swine.
That is Sir Swine. That is exactly right. Well, folks, I'm going to talk a lot more about the potential college football playoff, because why wait for it to happen when we can talk about what's going to happen?
Well,
here?
we can give our opinion like everybody else.
That's
We just
exactly
don't,
right.
We just don't get as much influence with the greenbacks is what I want.
No. But anyway, so we look. So the College Football Committee put out their penultimate, their next to last, if you will, for those of my friends in Starkville.
Do they understand that word?
Not either of them. Ranking as it comes down. And it was interesting. We talked a little bit earlier about they did shift Alabama above Notre Dame. But essentially with where we're going right now, let's kind of walk our way through the process here. So let's start right at the top. Ohio State, number 1, Indiana, number 2. Obviously, they're going to play tomorrow, Saturday night in the Big Ten
Where does the loser of that game go?
That's the question. So, guys, I would argue that I think no matter what happens in that game, both of those teams stay in the top 4. Do we agree?
Yes. Yeah.
Even if
would they
let's say Ohio State blows out Indiana.
Right. That would be the worst scenario. Would be 4.
Yeah.
What if if it's real close, you keep them 1 and 2?
Yeah.
That
would be interesting, because I think then what happens to Georgia matters.
Yeah.
Because I could see a scenario where if it's real close, you could say Texas Tech hasn't surpassed the loser, especially if it's, like you say, a down-to-the-line play.
Right.
So I think we agree at least 2 Big Ten teams are going to stay in the top 4. Now let me throw the next scenario at you, Jeremy. This one's for you.
Okay.
Currently, Oregon sits at number 5. Let's say Alabama beats Georgia. Texas Tech beats BYU. In that scenario, I think you have some version of 1, 2, 3 being Ohio State, Indiana, Texas Tech. The number 4 spot could very well. Alabama jumping from 9 to 4 seems like a strong jump. especially over a one-loss Big Ten team. Could we see a scenario where 3 Big Ten teams get buys?
You could see that and put Greg Sankey under watch somewhere. Because this is not what he envisioned.
Yeah.
And there would be a strong lobby that, his champion, even if it's a 2-loss champion, should somehow be in that round of buys, because what you're going to set up is the SEC knockout round.
The even more fascinating part of that dynamic, if the Big Ten gets 3 of the 4 buys, is in that scenario, the SEC would host all four of the opening round games.
Yep.
And they'd have the 9th seed as well.
And the 9th seed, exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so they would have some guarantees into the quarters for sure, but exit stage left for a lot of the programs.
So the next scenario, we kind of hit on it a little bit earlier, the scenario of, I think it's the only likely or possible scenario, let's say, of I'm going to leave out the conference champion part with 11 and 12 for the moment, because we're going to get to that. I think the only scenario where somebody from outside the current projected playoff comes in is the BYU one. So to me, if BYU wins and Alabama wins, do we think that Notre Dame does get pushed out? Or do we think maybe Texas Tech falls below Notre Dame?
I think Notre Dame is in a very precarious situation. If BYU wins and BYU and Texas Tech are both in the playoff at that point, that's the one they're not They don't want to see that in South Bend.
That's right.
Otherwise, I just think they're in from a standpoint of turning on televisions and sitting with 2 losses, and others are going to be in with 2 losses, and even with Miami sitting there with the 2 losses and the head-to-head, it's not going to be enough sway just from a marketing standpoint.
Right.
We're calling it a playoff, and it is, but it's a playoff within an invitational tournament. And that's the dynamic we have to sort of name. When you have guardrails that this group is in, this group's in, and then you have X number of slots remaining, we don't necessarily have a playoff. We're going to play it out with the ones that get in. It's kind of like the Little League tournament that, is hosted by some small town, and all the other teams come from across the state, and the small town gets to host, they get to play their team too. Yeah.
I mean, as much as I think Texas Tech is, I really think they're a good football. I think they're this year's Arizona State. I think they're the team nobody wants to see. I think they're a good football team. The one loss they have so far was on the road without their starting quarterback. I think they're solid. That being said, if they lose to BYU, I can make the argument their 2 losses are worse than Notre Dame's.
Yeah.
And so they could slip beyond them. Now, let me ask you this before we get to the big conference champ question. Should Miami be ahead of Notre Dame, Glenn?
I think so. I think if you're going to say head-to-head matters, and I think Miami's schedule, even though they were in the ACC, who did Notre Dame really play?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the academies, so.
We talked about yesterday, Jeremy, Notre Dame followed the number 1 rule of college football. If you're going to lose early.
Lose early. Yeah,
they did. They did. But, I mean, and then you're coming up against a team that's right behind you, and then if we say head-to-head counts, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Do we see any other team with a legitimate chance, like a Vandy, a Texas, a Miami getting in?
I don't see any.
I just don't
scenario there.
I don't either. But the thing is, you never know how they're going to figure these things.
That's true.
When you listen to him Tuesday night, he was going in circles. I'm like, okay, this is not making any sense.
Poor Hunter Yurachek. I mean, he's got to be he's not going to be sending flowers to the Rhodes household from Baylor, because now he's been thrown front and center in this whole deal.
But, I know. But the thing, too, you knew they were going to get to that question.
Yeah, right. If Alabama were to lose and Texas go in, you'd never see another team go to Atlanta and play in the SEC championship game.
Right. That's true.
That's right.
They just wouldn't. No, we'll pass. We're good. We'll take ours.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Well, that's, we talked about the teams that are sitting home that are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But some coaches say, I need that game to keep them in playing shape. Yeah. Whereas we said, last year, all the ones that had buys, the ones that hosted,
right.
the ones that hosted.
Oh, they were all offers.
Right.
Yeah. Next scenario, and this is the one I think that could potentially be the most impactful to college football. The scenario where right now you have Virginia and Duke through their crazy tiebreak system. Duke's 7-5, and they have a chance of the playoff. Right now, if Virginia wins, they're going to lock down the 11th spot. The winner of Tulane and North Texas will take the 12th. If Virginia loses, 99% chance Duke does not make it, and we end up with most likely the winner of Tulane, North Texas being 11, James Madison, who is a huge favorite against Troy, assuming they get through, being the 12. Mm-hmm. And the ACC would be left out. My question to you is this, guys. Would that signal the absolute final death knell for that conference?
Oh, that's a hard one to come. Yeah,
it is, because then you got to find a place for the top of the, which Florida State is not, but they're the ninth most watched team in the country.
Right, we've already had lawsuits against the ACC.
Right, and the two they got had losing records, Clemson and
True.
Yeah. But I tell you what, if you're gonna, I don't know, could James Madison beat, say, Virginia or Miami? I don't think they could beat Miami.
Right.
I don't know about Virginia.
I guess,
I'm not sure about Virginia. No.
Yeah, I guess to my thought, the problem is going to be, if you're a member of the ACC and you realize we're in a conference that does not guarantee us a place,
right,
then as soon as anybody starts looking, we're all looking.
Right.
And it could be another Pac-12 where it just very rapidly disintegrates. That's the thing. I think in a way, the Virginia-Duke game is the most monumental game to the sport of college football this weekend.
Yes.
Yes.
In a weird way. So
absolutely.
It'll be interesting to see for sure. Well, I want to talk about some more of our great sponsors here. That Cajun Place, get out there this Saturday. I'm going to be there watching the early games there and seeing how things are going. But they have a great wing special, great drink specials during the games, 50-cent wings, $5 pitchers. Get out there to Dat Cajun Place. Dr. John Ward, dermatology specialist. Appreciate him and everything he does. Get out and see him today. Steve's Bike Shop there on 23rd. If you want one of the regular bikes, electric bikes, go see Steve across from Sam's. TK Vandy Roofing and Contracting for all your roofing and contracting needs. Turf Pro Pest Control. Patrick and the crew will have your yard looking absolutely wonderful. And Max Fit Sports Nutrition there, Jason Kovaleski, both in Panama City on 23rd Street and in Pier Park North there next to Dick's Sporting Goods. You want to look better, feel better, it is Max Fit Sports Nutrition. When we get back, Vegas, pay attention. It's time for our picks. Well, at least Jeremy's, unless Glenn and I want to change ours. Coming up next, we're going to tell you what's going on this weekend for Championship Saturday.
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Thursday's weather. This afternoon and evening, there will be a moderate breeze out of the east-northeast, clouds and light showers in 55. Light sprinkles and clouds tonight, about the same at 54. Tomorrow, overcast in the morning, but otherwise light rain and a gentle breeze right around 10 miles per hour with a high of 69. A little colder at 63 Saturday, and we'll have light sprinkles. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction. Be part of a winning team.
Toyotathon is on at Panama City Toyota, where you can get 1.99% APR on a new Camry and get $500 in holiday cash. Get 3.49% APR on a new Corolla and get $500 in holiday cash. Get 1.99% on a new Tacoma plus $1,000 in holiday cash and 1.99% on a new Tundra plus you'll get $1,000 in holiday cash. Shake up your holidays at Toyotathon.
Offers expire January 5th. Visit PanamaCityToyota.com for details.
This is where heroes are created, legends are born, and dynasties forged. The Sports Talk Monster, ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael Studio.
Mamacita, ¿dónde está Santa Claus? The guy with the hair on his jersey. ¿Dónde está Santa Claus? The guy with the bony knees. Some help, man.
Nothing like a little Cheech and Chong to get us going on the morning there.
Welcome to ESPN.
Yeah, that's right, man. All right. Before we get in any more trouble, let's go into these picks here. Jeremy, Glenn, and I have already gone on the line, and barring using that famous Coach James Hale pencil, we're going to kind of rely on you for these. So let's start tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Troy headed to James Madison for the Sun Belt Championship. James Madison's coach looks like he's going to be the next coach at UCLA. James Madison, a 23.5-point favorite. What do we think?
Well, part of the intrigue of championship games is it's a one-game season. Mm-hmm. And then it comes down to motivation. Who wants to be there? Motivation for the underdog to knock off someone can be rather compelling. You can't go on and play, but you can keep them from going on and playing. Mm-hmm. I witnessed that firsthand at Jordan-Hare the other night, where a very spirited Auburn bunch knew that, okay, we might get backdoor into a bowl game, but that was not the motivation. The motivation was to try to finish off your rivals' chances of doing anything. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that might be sweeter. So I think 23.5 is very generous with Troy, which is a solid program that is tested, typically plays up in the non-conference to get those games. But I just don't know if they're going to have enough to take out James Madison. The X factor could also be if the changes in the coaching staff and the distractions around that start to seep in. Because, he's leaving. What does that mean for me? Because chemistry and unity matter. Yes, I've got James Madison winning, but it would not surprise me if Troy ekes something out because they have something to play for in a different capacity than James Madison. That's right. So I'll take James Madison. But
28 degrees in Harrisonburg, Virginia, too.
Yeah, but very, very close ball game coming up in that one.
We're going to skip Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State. Sorry, folks. Yeah. If you have any issues with that, direct them at the wall.
Call Randy.
Another big game Friday night, and this is definitely, I think, winners is in regardless here, most likely. North Texas and Tulane, both squads here, head coach moving on.
Yes.
After the season. Tulane ranked 20th in the country, 10-2. North Texas, 24th in the country, 11-1. This game is being played in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. Jeremy? North Texas is a small favorite here.
Small favorite. Lots of points going to be scored. Now, that could be barring the weather. Sure. I have not checked the forecast.
A little rainy and 52.
Yeah, because we're all dealing with the system getting ready to move in, so I don't know when it will hit over there. I actually like the green wave versus the mean green.
Yeah.
I like it at home. I think it would, kind of solve some of the riddle if Tulane wins this one here, not exclusively, but part of the puzzle. So I'm going to take Tulane.
All right, I think I'm on an island on North Texas there. UNLV Boise State, we're not going to touch. Good luck, Dan Mullen. We don't need that game. I'm going to save Georgia, Alabama for later. Let's go to the Big 12 consequential game as it relates to the playoff here, and it's at 11 a.m. BYU at Texas Tech, game being played in Arlington, Texas.
This game was a colossal mismatch in game one.
Yeah.
For all the hype around BYU Texas, you're sitting here thinking, okay, is there any way BYU could play with them in a rematch? There's just too much firepower on that Texas Tech side of the ball, and everything they want's right there in front of them. So I think for those really concerned about a doomsday scenario coming out of the Big 12, rest easy. The Red Raiders run all over BYU.
Yeah, I took Texas Tech as well. Glenn, I think you did as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Big Ten championship, number 1 versus number 2. Ironically, because we're in this playoff era, not getting maybe the publicity it should because it's not for anything.
Not for anything.
Other than a Big Ten championship.
1 versus 2 game in a previous era, this would have been circled and no. The intrigue for this one is around having played your big rival. You finally vexed the demon that is Michigan. And, I've got practice Monday.
Yeah.
with a coach who's, sitting with a very high-powered offense, ready to prove we're capable of being considered in the same, sentence as supposedly the king of the Big Ten.
That's right.
In Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So, this is the kind of one of those style challenges as well. Indiana's going to throw it around, move up and down the field, out quick, outpace. Ohio State really just mash you, push you around. The length of this game will go a long way to determine how long Indiana can stay on the field with them.
Yeah.
If Indiana can move quickly while keeping the clock running, and shorten the game, they've got a chance. But if they're throwing a lot of incomplete passes and their possessions are 8 seconds before they have to turn it back over, it's not going to bode well.
Yeah.
Indiana's got to do this weird thing of sustaining drives while running the clock. And play their type of ball game.
Yeah.
That's a real needle to thread, and I just don't think in the fourth quarter they're going to have enough left and Ohio State gets the Big Ten title.
I think I'm kind of with you. Glenn, did you take Indiana here?
I think I did.
I think you did.
I did too.
Wouldn't surprise. It's amazing to think you could have a mental letdown going into the Big Ten championship, but I think you honestly could. That Michigan thing was a
the
big
Michigan
deal.
game was really big.
Two games left, guys. ACC and what could be a momentous game, as we just said. Duke versus Virginia.
That's the toilet bowl.
This sounds like the ACC basketball team.
Well, I was going to say Cameron Indoor Arena will be a great.
I would say in Charlotte, would give favor to Duke, but 3 weeks ago, Virginia went to Durham and beat Duke on their home field.
Cameron would be rocking for this one, but I don't know about Charlotte.
They'd be camping out. Yeah.
What do we think? UVA 4-point favorite here.
The Virginia has a very prolific offense when they start hitting on all cylinders, and Duke has been somewhat atrocious on defense. Yep. I do think the Cavaliers win the ball game. They just seem a little more seasoned, settled. Duke could flash, but I'm going to go with Virginia. I like their quarterback play. I like their schemes. Duke could stay with them up and down the field. I just don't know that Duke would be able to break serve at any point.
As I said yesterday, ACC commissioner putting X-Lax in the food of the Duke players just to make sure. No, all right, 1 minute to go, Jeremy, and ain't a lot of time at Georgia, Alabama.
Oh, the head pick and the heart pick here. Alabama's wounded. Alabama's down. Early in the year when we played, I said I took Alabama. It's the only one on the show took Alabama because I like the matchup.
Yep.
I don't like this matchup.
Okay.
Alabama's lost Miller. That doesn't mean it. We don't have a stable of running backs, but Georgia now has good game film. They've got a lot of scheme, work that they can do. They had a tough showing against Tech. This game can be won by Alabama if it's in the trenches, but Alabama's going to have to hold Georgia under 17 and hope for the best. So if the clock can keep moving, Alabama stay on the field, they've got a shot. I just think this is probably the time where Alabama's defense breaks and Georgia gets the W.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Jeremy, real quick, tell us about the church again.
Come join us, First United Methodist Church, Panama City, Sunday morning, 8:15, 9:30, 10:45.
Glenn, thank you for sparing the worms there out at Bay Point. Big Bad John, appreciate it. Coach Hale back tomorrow.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Sports Blitz.
If Mike Norvell doesn't do what he's supposed to do and win football games, are we going to see them finally pull the plug on Mike Norvell and bring good old Brian Kelly to Tallahassee and let him try his luck against the ACC?
The Sports Blitz.
Live and local, weekdays 4 to 6.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Thursday's weather. This afternoon and evening there will be a moderate breeze out of the east-northeast, clouds and light showers and 55. Light sprinkles and clouds tonight, about the same at 54. Tomorrow, overcast in the morning, but otherwise light rain and a gentle breeze right around 10 miles per hour with a high of 69. A little colder at 63 Saturday, and we'll have light sprinkles. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
It's Thursday. New Hard Rock Bet rewards are dropping.
Nice. Ed Reed, you in?
The only thing I drop is receivers and mics. Ed, we're talking bonus bets, deposit matches, parlay insurance. Oh, okay. I'll do that kind of drop.
Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us. New players bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Payable in bonus bets. Not a cash offer. Offered by Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's